This rice trick makes worms multiply overnight. Soil comes back to life fast. Fellow gardeners, let's talk about something incredibly simple yet shockingly powerful: rice. Yes, that humble grain sitting in your kitchen cabinet may be the fastest, most affordable way to explode your earthworm population and supercharge soil life like never before. If your garden bed feels compacted, dry, slow to break down mulch, or just lifeless, this rice trick may be the wake-up call your soil has been waiting for. I've used this method across my garden beds, and the transformation is almost magical. Within days you'll see increased microbial movement in the soil. Within weeks, earthworms multiply aggressively, leaving behind nutrient-rich castings that feed your plants naturally. In this article, I'm going to show you why rice works, how to apply it, and how to avoid common mistakes. You can use it in raised beds, ground gardens, containers, really, just about anywhere. Soil thrives on life, not just fertilizer. Healthy soil isn't created by synthetic fertilizers, it's actually created by the living ecosystem beneath the surface. That living ecosystem includes earthworms, beneficial bacteria, fungi, microarthropods, and fermentation organisms. These tiny soil workers are the real architects of fertility. They break down organic matter into plant-available nutrients. They also improve drainage and aeration, which is crucial. Plus, they produce worm castings packed with nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and micronutrients. Not to mention, they build a stable soil structure and balance pH naturally. You see, when you feed the soil life feeds your plants. That's the philosophy behind Soil Sage Chronicles. So, why does rice work like rocket fuel for soil life? Well, rice is packed with starches and simple carbohydrates, and that's exactly what soil microbes crave. When microbes detect these carbohydrates, they start multiplying rapidly. More microbes means more worm food, and more worm food means more worms, and you guessed it, more worms leads to more fertile soil. But honestly, the real magic comes from fermentation. When rice water or even partially decomposed rice gets into the soil, it sparks a microbial bloom, which is actually pretty similar to what's done in Korean natural farming. At the same time, rice attracts saprophytic fungi, those white fungal threads, or mycelium, that gardeners love to spot. These fungi break down old mulch and stubborn organic matter, turning it into that dark, rich humus we're all after. So, there are actually two powerful ways to use rice in your garden. The first one is called rice water microbial activation. It's fast, simple, and honestly, really effective. Here's how to make it. First, rinse 1 cup of rice in 2 cups of non-chlorinated water. Then, rub the rice around until the water turns cloudy. This liquid is basically microbial fuel. Finally, strain out the rice and pour that rice water right into your soil. So, you can use rice water around your veggie beds, fruit trees, compost piles, or even as a drench for container soil. It's actually pretty versatile, you know? You'll notice increased moisture retention and a microbial bloom within, say, 48 to 72 hours. Worms will migrate directly into these zones to feed. For best results, apply every 7 to 10 days. The direct rice burial method promotes fungal growth and creates a long-lasting worm habitat. It's a simple step that really pays off in your soil health journey. Alright, so, here's how you apply rice burial. First, just grab a small handful of either cooked or soaked rice, then mix it with something like leaf mold compost, vermicompost, or some good aged manure. Next, you want to bury it about 2 inches deep, either near the plant roots or right between your crop rows. Finally, just cover it lightly with a bit of soil or mulch. In about 5 to 7 days, you'll notice fungal threads starting to appear, and you'll see new worm tunnels forming as well. Here's an important guideline: use only small amounts. Rice is pretty powerful stuff, and if you use too much, it can actually create anaerobic or sour-smelling conditions in your soil. So, here's what you want to do. Use only a handful per square meter, that's really all you need. Make sure to keep it lightly buried, not too deep, and, be sure to use clean rice, don't use oily or salted leftovers. What happens after applying rice? Well, the transformation actually happens in stages. First, there's the microbial bloom. What you'll see is the soil getting warmer and more active, then comes the biological heat stage, and that's when worms are drawn in. At this stage, worm reproduction really kicks into high gear, with worm clusters expanding rapidly. You'll also notice the soil rebuilding itself, turning dark, loose, and rich. Within just 2 to 3 weeks, the soil structure, visibly improves. For even better results, combine this method with mulch. For maximum effect, go ahead and apply rice water, or even buried rice, before you add mulch like wood chips or leaves. So, this creates a living mulch blanket, mulch that actively feeds the soil while protecting it, you know? Here's what you should notice within 30 days. You'll see worm castings show up on the soil surface. The soil itself gets darker, looser, and almost sponge-like. The mulch, well, it starts decomposing more quickly. Roots will grow deeper and your plants will look greener and more vigorous. All without adding any extra fertilizer. This trick, honestly, is especially powerful for dry, compacted soils, raised beds that just feel kind of worn out, and soil that's been damaged by chemical fertilizers in the past. You know, it doesn't just enrich your soil, it reawakens it. So, here's the thing, this rice trick may actually be one of the most affordable, natural, and, honestly, powerful soil boosters you'll ever use. It's, well, easy, safe for all plants, and, effective in small spaces, containers, balconies, and even farms. When life begins underground, everything above ground just thrives. If you found this guide valuable, go ahead and share it with a fellow gardener and help spread the message of living soil. May your worms multiply, and your soil stay forever alive.